And welcome to what very well may be one of the most exciting, most informative, and most disturbing seminars you've attended all year. My name is Dave Hall, and I have the privilege and opportunity of being able to introduce our guest speaker this evening. What we're going to share with you tonight and the information we're going to share, you'll find that no attorney, no accountant, and no financial planner is going to share with you. There's a reason for that. Chances are you will not see it in any major newspaper publication or on any major network as well. There's a reason for that. I think as we continue in the seminar, that will become very apparent. A great man, a man who we hold in great esteem, once stated, "I am a firm believer in the people. If given the truth, they can be depended upon to meet any national crisis. The great point is to bring them the real facts." Ladies and gentlemen, that was Abraham Lincoln. Tonight we're going to be sharing with you facts. You are going to act as judge and jury. It is your job and your position to take a look at the evidence and information and determine if you feel that it is true and real. Tonight I hope and I pray, it is my humble prayer, that God may be upon us, that our words may ring true, that your hearts and your minds will be open to recognize the truth. Now, a little bit about us. We are not a tax protesters group. On the contrary, we believe that all Americans who are required to pay their taxes should do so. All Americans who are legally, morally, and patriotically obligated to pay their taxes should do so. But knowing the difference between what you are obligated to pay, what is legal, and what is patriotic is absolutely critical to the future of our country today. The noble spirit who's going to be speaking with us tonight is named Albert Earl Carter. He's an author, a lecturer, a medical journalist, an investigative reporter, an international consultant. He's traveled extensively throughout the world and more extensively throughout the United States. He's been ridiculed, he's been challenged, he's been threatened. But you're going to recognize that Al Carter answers to a higher source, the same source that we answered to as we established our country. In God we trust. It is in God we trust that has brought Al Carter here tonight, and it is in God we trust that he will be preserved. Would you please join me in a warm welcome for Mr. Albert Earl Carter.
We're going to carry this meeting in a very special way. Out of the mouth of two or three witnesses shall every word be established. What we have here are two witnesses. Basically, we're going to present evidence to these two gentlemen. They are going to witness or testify to the truth of the information. You will act as jury, and it will become your responsibility to determine for yourself whether or not these things are true. It becomes my responsibility to present it in such a way that you can accept beyond a shadow of a doubt of the truth of the information. To begin with, we're going to find out who the IRS is and what it actually means to you. We're also going to find out who controls the Internal Revenue Service. With those two bits of information under our belt, then I'm sure that we can go even farther to find out what our obligations, our personal obligations are, to understand just where we need to go from here. So, we're going to start out with some information that everybody should know and should understand. I'm going to present to you Dave, and you are?
Bill.
Bill. All right. Can you remember Dave and Bill? Yeah. Okay. And, by the way, are these two witnesses acceptable to you?
Look okay.
They're all right?
Look good.
Okay, look good. All right. So I'm going to present to both Dave and Bill some information. Let me give you a better copy, Bill. Would you make us read one of those statements there?
Our tax system is based upon voluntary assessment and payment, not upon distraint. United States Supreme Court, the case of Flora versus United States, 1959.
So the United States Supreme Court indicates in 1959 that our system is based on voluntary system. All right, Dave, would you select another statement from this paper?
Our tax system is based on individual self-assessment and voluntary compliance. Mortimer Kaplan, Internal Revenue Audit Manual, 1975.
All right. And Bill, would you read another statement?
These individuals and groups are attempting to disrupt effective tax administration and present a major danger to our voluntary compliance system. Illegal tax protester training, Department of Treasury, Internal Revenue Service, manual training, 9974-02, 180, official use only.
Okay. What he's referring to right now is a tax manual. And the tax manual is a special handbook, or a handbook for special agents. This handbook for special agents, and this is only the front cover. And the reason it's only the front cover, because on this it says agents. Our tax system is based upon individual and self-assessment and voluntary compliance. And then it says the material contained in this handbook is confidential in character. It must not under any circumstances be made available to persons outside the service. So even in the most confidential books, what is the one thing that we find?
Voluntarily.
It's a voluntary system. It's important for us to understand that. Now we even go to this book. Dave, what is the title of that book?
Illegal Tax Protester Training.
Okay, Illegal Tax Protesters Training Manual, and this is the manual that all IRS agents receive so that they can protect themselves and prepare for a person who is illegally protesting the taxes. Now, this time I'd like to point out that we're not an illegal tax protester. You see, we believe in paying a full tax. All taxes that are legitimately owed to whomever the taxes are owed. All right? However, would you read the bottom part of that manual there?
Department of the Treasury, Internal Revenue Service. Training, official use only.
Official use only. All right. Now, would you turn to the first page, beyond the table of contents? And what is the big blue part that I've marked there?
Voluntary compliance system.
All right. So even in their Illegal Tax Protester Training Manual, it tells us that our taxes are a voluntary compliance system. Well, there must be something magic about those words, voluntary compliance, right? Well, maybe this is old-fashioned. Maybe we're out of date. Maybe we're out of tune. In fact, what I would like to do is bring things up to date. First of all, Bill, we have here an annual report dated 1979. And this is the annual report for the Commissioner of Internal Revenue Service. Is that right?
Yes.
Could you tell us how many times he uses the word voluntary in this?
6.
6 times. So even the Commissioner of Internal Revenue Service in 1979 it was so important to him that he used the term voluntary 6 times in his annual report. Well, now I understand that that's 1979, 1982, 1981, and so on. So maybe this is old-fashioned. After all, this is in the 1990s, right? So what I'd like to do now, Dave, is I'd like to present to you a letter. Could you give me the date of that letter?
January 25th, 1991.
January 25th, 1991. Is that recent enough?
Yes.
Okay. And who is this letter from?
The Internal Revenue Service, Department of the Treasury.
Okay. And would you read the part that I've marked there in the middle of that letter?
The mission of the IRS is to encourage and achieve the highest possible degree of voluntary compliance with the tax laws and regulations, and to conduct itself so as to warrant the highest degree of public confidence in its integrity and efficiency.